Hello again, I'm Dave Apsley. I'm a forester and a natural resources specialist with Ohio State University Extension. Today I'm joining you from Fairmont Cemetery here in Jackson, Ohio, and for our first tree of 2022, I'd like to introduce you to American holly. American holly, or Ilex opaca, is native to southern Ohio. Its range is mostly to our south. It actually occurs from Massachusetts down the East Coast and through most of the southern states over to about Texas. And it's fairly common in the state to our south, Kentucky. And it's believed that there were native populations here in southern Ohio and some evidence in Scioto and Lawrence counties. There aren't many native populations out there anymore. My theory is it's probably been overly harvested or overly dug for the landscape industry, or potentially the foliage has been overly harvested for decorative purposes. But it is supposed to be native to two of our southernmost counties. It's a beautiful species. It's one of our few evergreen or broadleaf evergreen tree species. So these leaves stay green year round. They're very thick, very leathery, shiny on the surface, not very large, maybe up to a couple inches in length, very thick and leathery, but they've got these very sharp pointed tips. And that's a great ID characteristic for American holly. The twigs are fine. The buds are very small, up to only about 1/8 of an inch in length. They can also have little rusty red hairs on those new growth twigs. But obviously the most easily identifiable characteristic of this species is the fruit. This species is dioecious, so you have separate male and female specimens in this species. This obviously was a female, but if you want fruit production of the hollies, you have to have male trees within proximity for pollination of the female trees. This tree is covered up with these 1/4 inch or so beautiful bright red berries. They're produced again only on the female trees. The females will produce small little indescript flowers. The males will actually produce clusters of flowers, but again, the fruit only occurs on the female trees. This tree is in beautiful shape this year. In years past, after some hard winters, I've seen this tree look pretty ugly, but it looks like it's recovered, and with this being a fairly mild winter to date, seems to be doing very well. Many folks don't realize, again, this is a native tree species. It's much more common to our south, and down there you'll see it up to 40 to 50 feet. It's rarely a common species in the canopy. It's very shade tolerant. It can grow under very heavily shaded conditions, and it tends to work its way up through the canopy. Songbirds will eat these berries, but obviously they're not super highly preferred. Seems like they hang around well into the winter months, and then as other berries and other food sources become less available, then a lot of those birds and species will go after the berries on American holly. The bark on this tree is fairly smooth and gray. I'm seeing a little bit of ridginess going on, and on a smaller stem you may see some lineals or small dots, but in general, even on a large tree, you're going to have a fairly smooth gray bark. Again, this is American holly, Ilex opaca. It is native to Lawrence and Scioto counties here in Ohio. I've actually got a few volunteers in my woodland here in Jackson, but I suspect that they're probably escapees from someone's landscape specimen near my property. So thanks again for your time, and please take at least part of your day to enjoy it in the woods.